Welcome back to a new Anno 1800 episode. We're going to talk about stamps, perfect stamps for new productions. In the last episode we covered penny farthing, spectacles and light bulbs. So it's only normal that today we continue with more engineers and investor productions. In particular, we're gonna look at productions that are linked to gold. So the gold of course, but also pocket watches and jewelry. Before we dive into the episode, remember that in the video description below, you can find the link to join for free my Discord community, where you will find all of those stamps to download. And if you do want to contribute, the first link in the video description below is to my Patreon page, where we have a couple of different levels. First one starting at $1, and with each of them you get a ton of great benefits, so don't hesitate to check it out. But without further ado, let's dive in. To be honest, I didn't actually make a lot of stamps for this one, because I don't even think you should build those production. I'm gonna explain what I mean, and of course I will still show you a lot of stamps. What I mean is not that you shouldn't have pocket watches and jewelry. They are actually really important as money maker. You know, they're going to give you a lot of money. The reason I'm saying that is that there is a lot of items for you to get these for free. For example, in the last episode I showed you that for the bicycle factory you should try to get Dario, because with Dario you will make the production easier. You know, instead of steel it's iron, and on top of this you would get 1 out of 8 cycle a pocket watch. And there's a couple of those items like this which can really give you a lot of those resources. But still, let me show you how to make it from scratch, you know, a basic layout let's say, and then some more advanced ones too. So first, the basic clock maker. So to make some pocket watches you're gonna need some glass and you're gonna need some gold. You will also need electricity. Those buildings will not work without electricity, which is why you see an oil power plant over here with a railway. Then we have 3 of those clock makers, 2 of those goldsmiths, and 1 glass maker. You add to that the classic police station and fire station and a warehouse, and you get this great stamp that will give you 4 per minute, 4 pocket watches per minute, with all the intermediate materials, you know, at perfect equilibrium, but none of the actual resources. You know, I cannot make a stamp that is also going to give you the gold and the quartz, for example. I could have added, you know, the coal. This would basically just be 1 charcoal clean given the electricity. If you want, you can add it over here, for example. But yeah, that's the basic one. The jewelry for investor is actually a lot simpler because this one doesn't require electricity. You will have 2 of those jewelers that will take this gold again and some pearls, and you will have 4 of those goldsmiths. Then you add the classic police station, fire station, and a warehouse, and you have it. You have a production of 4 per minute with perfect equilibrium for the gold. But once again, you're missing all of the inputs. I will also, by the way, show you a couple of very interesting items if you do want to have those productions. Now let's make things interesting. I'm gonna show you a stamp that has all of those things together, including actually the sand mine. Obviously, depending on your harbor, it may be hard to put the exact sand mine like I did over here, but maybe if that's the case, you know, you put it a bit further and then you rebuild the sand mine. But in this case, I think we can. Look at this, perfect. So we're going to produce 4 jewelry and 4 pocket watches. We have perfect ratio on the gold, perfect ratio on the glass. We're bringing all of the quartz needed, all of the coal needed. The only thing that we're missing is the gold ore and the pearls. Both of these resources typically come from the New World, but I'm going to show you later also other ways to get them. So that's a really cool one. If you don't have items yet, you can use this one to produce both of them. Now let's talk trade unions. First of all, a trade union that has everything. As you can see, we are covering all of the buildings. In the middle, we have all of the goldsmiths. On this side, we have all of the jewelers, and on that side, all of the clockmakers. They don't have the same production time, so it is not at equilibrium at all. You can see we're talking about only 4 pocket watches versus 14 jewelers. So you probably don't want it exactly like this. So that's a pretty cool layout also, because what you may want to do is you put it in blueprint, right? Then you start the trade union, and then, you know, maybe you start 1 of each. And for 1 of each, how many do I need? You know, I think you need probably 3 or 4, depending on what items you have over here. And when you need to increase your production, then you can add more and more and more. So that's also a pretty useful sort of future-proof layout. Number 5, a dedicated trade union for gold. Now, if you really want to make a lot of gold, maybe sell it, I don't know. You have it. I see that I've forgotten 2 rods over here. Make sure you add them. But yeah, with this you'll be producing 38 of gold per minute without items or working condition. And then next to it you have a dedicated trade union for the clocks and for the jewelry. This is very different layout, as you can see, to optimize and have as many as we can. For the clockmaker it's 24 to make a production of 16, and for the jewelers we have 30, so that's a production of 60. Do remember though that this is without items, electricity, things like this. So these will change when you start putting items, of course. Now let's talk about items, because there's definitely a lot of very important items over here. The first one is how to not produce gold, because you're gonna get it for free. There's a couple of items, but the one I really like is Captain Moby. You're gonna put it in your Harbor Master office for your fisheries. And it's a very cheap production to have. You can produce tons of it and then just drop it into the ocean, it's fine. But with this, you'll produce a lot of gold for free. So Captain Moby, remember it to make gold. Another one that I like a lot is Goldsmith Gilbert. You're going to put it in your jewelers, and then instead of the gold, this is only going to process gold ore. So it's not like the gold has disappeared, you still need the gold ore. But gold ore is actually very easy to get with Georg von Malkin. Georg von Malkin, if you don't know, it's an amazing one for all of your mines. You put a trade union on your mines, it is going to improve the productivity by 70%. It's also going to give you oil at a rate of 1. So basically he is the reason why nobody is producing any gold in the new world, because you're getting already way too much gold with your mines. But on top of it, you're also producing a lot of gold ore. So again, a lot of items that could help you with the gold production. Now another one that I like a lot is Hans. Because Hans, you're going to put it in your clockmakers. It's going to increase the productivity, it's going to change the workforce into workers, so that's an easy one. And on top of it, it's going to produce jewelry for free. So if you play your cards right, you will have a pocket watch production that will make the pocket watch and the jewelry at the same time. But remember that the clockmakers, they actually require electricity and they have a longer production time. So it's actually better to do it the other way around. And in this case, you want Francois. Because Francois is going to be on your jeweler, once again, improving the productivity, that's great. But look at the other things. The other things are way better. First, it's pocket watches 1 out of 4. And given that, once again, this is a production that is quicker, that means a lot more pocket watches than the other way around. And it's going to remove the pearls as an input. So instead of needing gold and pearls, you only need gold. And I already showed you before how it was easy to get gold for free. So basically the most important stamp that I showed you is this one over here. The one for the jewelers. You put in the trade union Francois and even nothing else. I mean, of course you can put a few other, for example, Goldsmith Gilbert that I mentioned before, so that you only need gold ore, or you can put Ferras or others. But with a trade union like this, you will be swimming in jewelry and pocket watches that you can use for your people and also sell. So here it is, ladies and gents, 7 stamps for the clock and jewelry production, but also a number of very important items. I hope that you liked this episode. Don't hesitate to check, of course, in the video description below the full playlist, smash the like button, and I hope to see you next time.